Welcome to Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Yvonne Wolf. Today, our special guest is Aldiana Deumić. She is a District 34 substitute teacher and the author of Jealous of the Dead, Secrets of an Immigrant Survivor. Welcome, Aldiana.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Pleasure being here.
Tell us what motivated you to write this book.
Writing has always been a dream of mine. Ever since I was 9 years old back in Bosnia, when the war started, writing became my best friend, my only type of therapy. And in order to process everything that was going on around me, including bombing, starvation, concentration camp, writing helped me survive it.
Mm-hmm.
If I did not have a pen and a paper, I don't know how I would have done it.
Oh yes, I can imagine that. I met people from Lebanon, and they talk about that too. You know, this idea of Beirut and living with bombers. They have to do something, right, that they
Yes.
can control in their life.
Yep, it's one thing you can control, exactly.
Yes, and so your book is currently #1 new release in teen and young adult cultural heritage biographies on Amazon. Wow, that's quite an accomplishment with the first book.
It is. When I was little, I had really big dreams. And I will be honest with you, at some point of my life, I kind of, put my dreams on hold and I stopped believing somewhat. But deep inside, I always knew that I would gather courage and go back and do this. So yes,
What?
I still cannot believe it. It is amazing. It's a really good feeling, and I'm very positive, and I look forward to seeing, what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years, because I really believe that this book is something that our classrooms need, our society needs.
Okay.
You don't have to have survived war or immigrated. There are a lot of other ways you can connect to the story as a reader, especially with the mental health issues growing today, and a lot of young kids and adults struggling with depression, anxiety, thanks to social media. And I say thanks because I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah. So what is the time frame that was it during COVID you started putting this together?
That is a really good question again. Yes. So I actually, I began writing Jealous of the Dead when I was 9 years old back in Bosnia. Back then it was in a type of journal. And then after that, I wrote some poems and then I left it behind. War ended, we came to United States. I was a teenager. I did not speak the language. So I had to learn the language first. And then I did not feel good enough to write in my native language, which is Bosnian, and I did not feel fluent enough to write in English. So it took a while. And then about 12 years ago, I wrote the first version of Jealous of the Dead, which was called Through Darkness, Story of Bosnian Diaspora.
In English?
In English, yes. It was published. And as an author, I do not think that book is something that I want to show off and I'm proud of, because I was a different person 12 years ago. 12 years ago, I did not have any therapy. Writing was my only type and form of therapy for many, many years. And what I want to say is the Through Darkness was actually endorsed by Illinois Holocaust Museum.
My goodness.
As
That's
I said,
quite an honor as well.
It is, but I am my own
own worst critic.
my own worst critic, exactly. So, I took a break because what happened was when I tried to write my story 12 years ago, after I wrote it down, that's when I started having a lot of feelings. The PTSD came out
Yes.
many, many years later. And talking about the book, trying to market it, promote it, was very challenging. I had maybe 5, 6 events. One of them was at Loyola University. And I stopped because I was getting migraines on a daily basis. I was having nightmares.
You were unprepared for
Exactly.
opening it back up.
I was not ready 12 years ago. I tried. I am happy that I did it. But what really needed to happen was for me to finally say, hey, you cannot do it alone, Aldiana. Yes, writing can be therapeutic, but you also need to talk to a professional who's going to help you understand what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, name your feelings, all of that. So I waited many years to get therapy. And it was actually right during COVID time when it all escalated and I was going to break, I was at a breaking point.
You realized that it was bigger than yourself.
Yes.
That you needed someone to help you walk through this process.
Exactly.
Yes. And that's what I have heard too from people who have survived the Holocaust as children, even when they talk about it as older 80-year-old adults, they have to, let's say, they don't enjoy revisiting that, right? They have to find a way to tell the story and then kind of seal it back up again so that they can live a normal life as they do now. So I can see that. So why did you choose, right, to write for this age group? Like, how did you decide to do that?
Yes. So the experiences that I write about, I write about my childhood and my teenage years in Jealous of the Dead, Secrets of an Immigrant Survivor. So I wanted kids as young as middle school, high schoolers, and adults to relate to it. And I am really proud of myself because based on the feedback that I'm getting, it's not just the teens and younger audience that can connect and relate. It's adults too, and not just immigrant adults, but even natives in the United States who are enjoying it. So I kind of wanted to broaden it and make it enjoyable and available for not just one particular age, but middle school and up.
I see. So just that is very relatable for all Americans, right? That Americans who have been here multi-generational or newer immigrants perhaps can connect with this experience. So for writing for this age group, because of its teen and young adults, did you have to work on the vocabulary, like choose the vocabulary, select them to fit that age group?
Oh, absolutely. So the fact that I have taught students as young as preschool, as old as 77 years old, gives me advantage in really getting to know, how particular age group thinks, how they talk. And I'm really good at observing and taking notes. So when I sat down to write, while I was writing, I would ask myself, is this going to be, does this sound like it's coming from a 10-year-old? Does this sound like it's coming from a 12-year-old? And I have 2 teenagers at home too, so...
Have they read your book? Were they your test
So
audience?
actually, I'm gonna be honest. They have not read the newest version yet because they're teenagers and they're super busy and they don't really have time for mom. They do have time for their friends, but they know my story from before. My youngest daughter, she really enjoys reading. So she's read about half of it.
Just
And
some
she's,
part of it. That's
yes,
what I mean.
yes,
Like
yeah.
some versions, some drafts of
Oh,
it.
absolutely,
So,
but
yeah, it's a test
not the final
audience.
one. And I can tell you that they're really proud of me. And maybe at this time, they don't understand what this truly means. And I feel like as they get older, they're going to appreciate it more, especially, one day when they have their own families.
Yes. And there's so many complex emotions that goes through this, right?
Exactly.
You probably didn't, as you said, you had trouble with your own language, and you probably didn't even have the word for the emotions that you
Exactly.
experienced. So I can understand that.
Yes.
As my family immigrated to America when I was 8 years old. So I remember that time where the language was just not perfect either languages to help us understand ourselves.
Yeah.
So how do you approach a serious subject like this? Well, for war that's accessible to a younger audience, let's say not just a whole range, but how do you make that accessible for a younger audience?
So what I did is I tried to balance it out. For example, a passage that I thought was very graphic is the shortest chapter in the book. It's not even an entire page because I needed readers to, take a break, not read, other types of information or text.
You don't want to overload them with too much. So you
Exactly.
want it to be just a little bit for you to get a taste of that experience.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me clarify that, Yvonne. I also try to be funny whenever I could, because I know that talking and writing about such heavy topics can be challenging to do, but also can be challenging for a reader. So whenever I wrote, I would always, after each chapter, go back and ask myself, is this too much? Do I need to change some wording, phrasing? I also try to make it as relatable to anybody, as I mentioned earlier. And one way I did that was by including some talking about family dynamics, some sibling conflicts, things like that.
Yeah, and that's very relatable. And humor is difficult to write.
Yes.
Yeah, humor is really difficult to write. Can you give an example of that?
Yes. In one of the chapters, I believe the title of the chapter is 10 Reasons Not to Jump. At the end of the chapter, I share an actual experience, and it was an experience of my mom, my sister, my aunts, one of my uncles, and my cousins sitting down, and one of my aunts saying, I miss keks. Keks is biscuit. So, we were talking about food and she was craving something sweet. So she said, I miss keks. And I remember my mom, saying it, I miss sex. And then, it's like all of us were laughing out loud. At that time, I did not really know what sex was and what it meant, but I laughed along. My boy cousins, they definitely knew what they were talking about. But it's one of those very memorable, awkward moments where I lighten up in, a chapter where I talk about, debating whether or not it's better to jump or stay.
Wow.
And I thought, adding that was a really nice closure.
Yeah.
So that's one of the examples.
Yes, you have to move away from certain emotions
Exactly.
to get closer to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what are some reader responses have you received?
So far, I have only received positive feedback. And this includes, feedback from family members, friends, colleagues, people that I know, and feedback from strangers.
Yes, how about Amazon? Have you received
So,
that?
yes, a lot of positive feedback, as I said. One of the reviews was from a teacher who said that if you are teaching in a school environment and you have newcomers, immigrant kids, the second part of book is perfect because the author explains what it means, how it feels to be new to a country, not know the language, to be bullied, all of those things. I get a lot of social media messages from new followers, and a lot of people within the Bosnian community are saying that they feel like they are reading their own autobiography. They can relate to it so much.
That's really moving.
And they are applauding me and saying, thank you for being able to say things that I was never able to say them, things that I buried and hid underneath the rug for many years and never dealt with. Right. One of my cousins in Bosnia, the other day I talked to her, and she said she cried whole day. She was 4 years old when her father was killed. And she buried a lot of those emotions. And she said it's like opening up a wound, but it is feeling that she feels like this is the right time. She has to deal with this because trying to pretend that it did not happen is never a good solution. Faking it, hiding behind smile, and trying to doing it all alone.
Yeah, and pretending that nothing happened. I don't know how little girls or little boys like that ever can. When is the right time, right, to open it back up? But things that we see now, we wonder how and when it'll come up for them. And what did you learn about yourself? It seemed like many people learned from you. What did you learn through writing this second version, perhaps?
Exactly. So the second version, it took me about 9 months to write it. I began writing it in January. And first I wrote in English because at this point I feel like English is my dominant language. Right. I think in English, I dream in English.
Yes, I understand.
And then I went and I translated it to Bosnian. So what I learned about myself is that there are many versions of me. There are versions of myself that I admire, that I am proud of, like the one that I'm living right now. But there are also versions of myself that I'm not proud of, that I wish could have been better. But that only makes me a human. And I have learned that I'm a lot more stronger than what I think. And I am very proud of myself opening up, being vulnerable, talking about some of these topics that are still taboo and cliche in a lot of communities, especially immigrant community. And one of those is talking about, dealing with depression, anxiety, PTSD, ADHD. In my case, recently, a couple months ago, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I was always hyperactive, impulsive, at school I had to work extra hard, take a lot of notes.
So those terms didn't exist when you were a child, perhaps.
No,
because
no,
right,
not at
I
all.
know when I grew up there was no such word as ADHD or diagnosis of things like that. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. No, my thing is when I was a young girl before the war started, my mom said I was such a big troublemaker. I was out and fighting with boys, climbing on trees, always dirty, getting in trouble.
They just call that tomboy.
Exactly, I was a
Right?
tomboy,
Yeah.
and honestly, like getting a name, not that I love having another label
Uh-huh.
added,
Uh-huh.
but understanding, why I did things certain way, why I
Yeah.
acted, why I think, in this
How
way
your mind is organized,
helps
right?
me,
Yeah.
helps me personally, but also helps me be a better parent to my kids
Mm-hmm.
and better educator to the kids that I work with.
Be
So
more
it is
self-aware.
definitely a time to talk about this, and I am not ashamed to say these things. I am proud of myself, and I hope every single individual that feels stuck and that feels like, they cannot get up and continue going.
Yeah, now
I
they can identify with you
Yes, I
and
recommend
yes.
that there's always a way. If there's a will, if there's a
Right.
will, there's a
Yes.
way. Keep going, keep trying, keep believing in yourself. Do not ever give up. And dreams do come true. Yes, it may take 30 years, in my case,
Uh-huh.
for this book to come out and to
Yes.
be this successful.
Right.
But don't ever stop believing.
Aldiana, so you mentioned this book being um, also in Bosnian. Did you have help, or how did you translate that through? Now there's also computer programs, right? So can you share a little bit about that journey?
Yes. So I am blessed to say that I know my native language well enough. I
Mm-hmm.
did not come when I was 7 or 8.
Right.
I arrived to United States when I was a teenager at the age of 14.
Mm-hmm.
So
So you
my
have a well
Bosnian language,
established.
writing skills, they have established.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of translation myself. I did use technology a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
All right.
And then I reached out to a publishing house in Bosnia and I hired an editor, a professional proofreader editor who
That's
she actually
important.
just proofread. Like
Yeah.
I thought there was gonna be
Yeah.
more,
Yeah.
work for her. But the fact that it was just like proofreading and
Oh.
certain phrases, you can translate it from one language to
Uh-huh.
another.
Yes.
So she helped out with a lot of that.
Oh, that is a tremendous compliment, isn't it? That
Yes,
your 14-year-old level was at a quality that was just
yeah,
needed some right tuck and trim. So that's
exactly,
great.
exactly. So yeah, no, it's great. One thing I want to mention is last night I received a message from our local imam. We're Muslims,
Mm-hmm.
and he complimented me. And one of the things he said was, or one of the questions he had was, "Did you write this first in Bosnian?" Because he was under impression
Yeah.
that I wrote it in Bosnian, and in a way, I kind of did. The
Right.
original story
The
that I had
seed.
in me
Right.
was 30 years ago. This just kind of evolved, but the Bosnian version, according to people that have read it in Bosnian, which is called Zavidna mrtvima,
Mm-hmm.
tajne preživjele imigrantice, it looks like
Thank you.
it's doing well.
Well, one last question. How do you connect to Glenview?
How do I connect with Glenview? I don't live in Glenview. I live next door, and I'm always in Glenview.
Because you're a District 34, yes,
Exactly.
substitute teacher.
I work in the district, but many years ago when my kids were smaller, I worked like a nanny in Glenview.
Mm-hmm.
So being a nanny, I had a privilege of going to all the local parks, libraries,
Yeah.
museums, and I brought my own kids here. And now working in the District 34 as a substitute teacher, some of the kids that I teach at Hoffman right now, I remember them as babies, from library or,
What a nice
activities.
connection. Yeah.
So
That's
this is my second home.
yeah. And
I
that's a
love this
beautiful
place.
connection. Well, thank you, Aldiana, for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was such a joy talking to you, and you're very easy to talk to.
Oh, thank you.
And I hope to be back some other time.
Yeah, with
Thank
your
you.
next book, perhaps. And thank you for watching. Join us next time on Off the Shelf.